Hey, what's good everyone? If you own TDK Switch and you're not sure what to play, I got you. Today, we're going through the 15 best games you need on your Switch right now. If you only play a handful of games this year, make it these ones. Let's go. Hades 2 is the follow-up to one of the best games ever made, and it picks up right where the original left off, except now you're playing as Melinoe, a princess of the underworld on a mission to stop the Titan Kronos. The game is a roguelike, which means every time you die, you start over. But dying is part of the fun. Each run feels different because you're constantly mixing new weapons, abilities, and power-ups called boons, gifted to you by the gods of Olympus. The combat is faster and more layered than the first game, with a magic system added on top of the usual hack and slash. You'll run into gods, spirits, and all kinds of characters between fights, and every conversation adds more to the story. The world keeps reacting to your runs, and you always feel like you're making progress even when you lose. It's still in early access, but already packed with content, and it plays beautifully on Switch.
Slowing down.
Fire Emblem Three Houses is a strategy RPG set inside a military academy called Garreg Monastery, and you play as a professor who leads one of 3 student houses. Each house has its own cast of characters, its own storyline, and its own way the war ahead unfolds, so your first playthrough is only a fraction of what the game has to offer. During peacetime, you spend your days teaching students, building relationships, exploring the monastery, and making choices that shape how the story goes. When war breaks out, the game shifts into full, tactical, turn-based combat on a grid, where positioning, unit classes, and weapon matchups all matter. Every student you train feels personal, because you've spent hours building them up. So when battles get tough, there's real weight to every decision. The writing is strong, the characters are memorable, and the different routes feel genuinely distinct, not just palette swaps of the same story.
Is that all?
Super Mario Bros. Wonder is a 2D Mario game that constantly surprises you. The big twist is the Wonder Flower scattered across levels. These flowers trigger wild, unpredictable events that completely change how a level plays. Pipes start moving, Mario transforms into something bizarre, the whole stage flips upside down. No 2 Wonder moments are the same, and the game leans hard into keeping you guessing. Outside of that, the core platforming is tight and responsive, with a bunch of playable characters including Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, and the Toads, each feeling slightly different to control. The worlds are colorful and creative, with level themes that feel fresh the whole way through. There's also a badge system where you can equip abilities that change how you move, things like wall jumps or floating, which adds a layer of customization to how you approach levels. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a massive JRPG set in a world where giant living creatures called Titans float above a sea of clouds, and entire civilizations exist on their backs. You play as Rex, a young salvager who bonds with a legendary blade named Pyra, and sets off on a journey to find a paradise called Elysium. The combat system takes time to learn. It's built around real-time battles where you manage your position, chain attacks between party members, and pull off big combo moves called blade combos and chain attacks. Stick with it and it becomes deeply satisfying. The blade system is a huge part of the game. You collect blades, which are weapon-wielding companions with their own personalities and side stories, by unlocking them through core crystals. Some are rare and powerful, and building your favorites is a whole game in itself. The story goes places you won't expect, with genuine emotional moments and a cast you actually care about.
I like the way this is going.
We must catch.
I'd rather.
Super Mario 3D World is a multiplayer platformer where up to 4 players run through compact 3D levels together, with characters like Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad, each having slightly different abilities. It's fast, chaotic in the best way, and one of the best couch co-op experiences on the Switch. The Catsuit power-up lets you climb walls and pounce at enemies, and the level design is constantly throwing new ideas at you. Then there's Bowser's Fury, a completely separate open-world Mario experience that feels unlike anything Nintendo has made before. You're on a series of connected islands, and periodically, a giant, dark version of Bowser rises from the sea to wreak havoc, while you race to collect cat shines to power up and fight back. The sense of scale when Fury Bowser appears is genuinely impressive, and the whole thing has this tense, unpredictable energy that makes exploring feel exciting. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is Kirby's first real 3D platformer, and it nails it. You're dropped into a post-apocalyptic world full of abandoned shopping malls, theme parks, and industrial zones, all overgrown and reclaimed by nature. And it looks stunning. The gameplay is classic Kirby. Swallow enemies to copy their abilities, explore colorful stages, and rescue Waddle Dees along the way. The new Mouthful Mode ability lets Kirby inhale real-world objects, cars, vending machines, traffic cones, and use them to solve puzzles and fight bosses. It's genuinely creative and funny to watch. The boss fights are the highlight, with some seriously impressive encounters that hit harder than you'd expect from a Kirby game. There's also a 2-player co-op mode, where a second player controls Bandana Waddle Dee, making it perfect for playing with someone who's newer to games. Luigi's Mansion 3 puts you in a haunted hotel with a vacuum cleaner called the Poltergust G00 and one mission, rescue Mario and the gang from King Boo. Luigi is scared of everything, and watching him flinch and squeal through the hotel while reluctantly solving ghost problems is genuinely entertaining. Each floor of the hotel is a self-contained themed area, a medieval castle, a pirate ship, an Egyptian tomb, and each one has its own unique ghost boss at the end. The combat works by flashing ghosts with your flashlight to stun them, then vacuuming them up, while managing your grip on the poltergust. It's tactile and satisfying. A new mechanic lets you shoot out a gooey clone of Luigi called Guigi, who can pass through grates and tight spaces that Luigi can't, and switching between the two to solve puzzles is a clever mechanic throughout. 2-player co-op lets someone control Guigi alongside you. Animal Crossing New Horizons gives you a deserted island and lets you do whatever you want with it. You move in, set up a tent, start gathering resources, and slowly build the island up over real-time days, seasons, and holidays in the game sync with real life. There's no combat, no fail state, no pressure. You fish, catch bugs, dig up fossils, decorate your home, and chat with the animal villagers who move onto your island. The loop is incredibly relaxing and easy to dip in and out of. Even 20 minutes a day feels rewarding. The crafting system lets you build furniture, tools, and decorations from scratch, and customizing every inch of your island becomes a creative project that some players spend hundreds of hours on. Visiting friends' islands online adds a social layer, and the seasonal updates kept the game feeling fresh for years after launch. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the definitive kart racing game, and it's not really close. 96 tracks, a huge roster of characters, multiple race modes, and a battle mode that's actually good this time. It's an absurd amount of content. The racing itself is smooth, fast, and balanced, in a way that keeps things competitive without being punishing. Anti-gravity sections let you race on walls and ceilings, and the tracks range from classic throwbacks to wild, creative courses that take you through haunted mansions, rainbow roads, and massive cities. The item system keeps every race feeling unpredictable. You can be in first place and still get hit by 3 blue shells back to back, which is either infuriating or hilarious depending on your mood. Up to 4 players locally, and online races are smooth and populated. The Booster Course Pass added 48 more tracks from across the series' history, making it even more stacked. Hades. You play as Zagreus, the son of Hades, trying to escape the underworld against his father's wishes. Every escape attempt is a run through procedurally generated chambers filled with enemies, traps, and bosses. And when you die, you will die a lot. You're sent back to the House of Hades to start again. But here's the thing. The story continues between every run. You talk to gods, shades, and characters in the house, and the dialogue changes constantly based on how far you got, who you fought, and what you chose. The narrative never stops moving forward, even when you're losing. The combat is fast, fluid, and endlessly customizable. You pick up boons from Olympian gods each run, and combining them in creative ways leads to completely different playstyles every time. Weapons, upgrades, and relationships all evolve the more you play. Metroid Prime Remastered is a first-person adventure game where you play as Samus Aran, a bounty hunter dropped onto an alien planet called Talon 4 with one job: figure out what happened there, and stop a growing biological threat called phazon from spreading further. What sets this game apart from shooters is that it's not really about shooting. It's about exploration. You move through interconnected environments, ancient ruins, frozen tundras, volcanic caves, scanning everything around you to piece together the history of a dead civilization and understand the world you're in. The scan visor is one of the coolest mechanics in any game. You point it at enemies, objects, and structures, and the lore just builds up organically as you play. Combat is satisfying but deliberate. You're locking onto targets, switching between beam types, and managing your resources carefully. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a JRPG on a scale that's hard to describe until you're actually inside it. The world is called Ionios, a massive landscape where two nations, Keves and Agnes, are locked in a never-ending war, and soldiers on both sides live short, brutal lives measured in cycles rather than years. You follow 6 characters from opposing factions who end up joining forces under circumstances the game sets up carefully, without rushing. The story is about war, loss, purpose, and what it means to actually live, and it goes hard on all of it. Combat runs in real time with your full party of 6, and it builds on the systems from previous Xenoblade games with a class mechanic that lets characters swap roles and learn new abilities from each other. You're constantly managing positioning, timing your arts, and chaining together interlink attacks, where 2 characters fuse into a more powerful form.
Enemies broken away from me. Overforce. Come here. I got something for you. You're a lifesaver. Nothing. Enemies broken away from me.
Super Mario Odyssey is a 3D platformer that gives Mario a hat named Cappy, and that one change reshapes everything. You throw Cappy at enemies and objects to possess them, becoming a bullet bill, a tank, a stack of Goombas, a T-Rex, and the game keeps finding creative ways to use that mechanic in every new world you visit. The structure is open-ended. Each kingdom has a collection of power moons scattered everywhere, and the density of secrets, challenges, and hidden areas is ridiculous. You're always finding something. The worlds themselves are wildly varied. A massive urban city, a cooking-themed kingdom, a retro pixel world, and each one has its own visual identity and gameplay focus. Mario controls beautifully, and the movement system has real depth for players who want to push it, with momentum tricks and precise jumps that reward experimentation. Tears of the Kingdom takes everything Breath of the Wild built and blows the roof off it, literally, because this time you can also go up into Sky Islands floating above Hyrule. Link has 4 new abilities, and the most important one is Ultra Hand, which lets you grab and attach objects together to build whatever you can imagine. Rafts, cars, flying machines, weapons, catapults. The game doesn't hold your hand with this. It gives you materials and physics and trusts you to figure it out. And watching the community come up with insane creations never gets old. There's also Fuse, which lets you attach objects to your weapons and arrows to change how they work. A rock fused to a sword hits harder. A Keese eyeball fused to an arrow homes in on enemies. The world is bigger than before, with underground depths and sky layers stacked on top of the existing Hyrule map, all filled with things to find. Breath of the Wild changed what open-world games could be, and it still holds up completely. You wake up as Link with no memory, a crumbling world to explore, and 0 hand-holding. The game just points you toward a distant mountain and lets you go. Everything in the environment is interactive. Trees fall, fires spread with the wind, metal conducts lightning, cold air freezes your stamina. The physics engine isn't a gimmick. It's the foundation of how you solve every problem in the game. Shrines, small puzzle dungeons scattered across Hyrule, teach you to think creatively with Link's 4 rune abilities: a magnet, bombs, ice pillars, and time manipulation. You approach them however you want, and there's almost always more than one solution. The 4 divine beasts serve as the main dungeons, each with their own mechanical puzzle that you navigate as an entire moving structure. Enemies scale with your progress, and combat rewards timing and preparation over button mashing. And that's the list. 15 games, all worth every minute. Whether you're into action, strategy, or just vibing on your couch, the Switch has something for you. Drop a comment telling me what you're playing right now. Later!